Okay, good morning, all of you. Today I would like to start organic chemistry basics. In this bonding and molecular structure, I will discuss. Okay, actually, in organic chemistry, actually is a part of our life. At every moment, organic chemistry is involved. In organic chemistry, molecules actually comprise of the tissue of plants as mighty as the redwoods convey signals from one neuron to the next in animals, and it will store genetic information of life. And all the food we eat each day contains organic molecules. So the growth of living things from microbes to elephants rests on organic reactions. And organic reactions provide energy that drives our muscles and our thought process. So our lives depend on organic chemistry in many other ways as well. Actually, every article of clothing we wear is a product of organic chemistry. Whether the fibers or the natural or synthetic materials we'll use, they all comes under this organic chemistry. Hardly a minute goes by when we are not using something made of organic molecules such as pen, computer keyboard, and a music player or a cellular phone, all consisting of this organic related informations. We view display screens made of wood, organic liquids, crystal arrays, and some natural polymers which will comprise of wood and the paper we read. It also contains organic related information. Natural and synthetic organic molecules actually enhance our health. There is not a single aspect of our life that is not a somewhere dependent on organic chemistry. But what is organic chemistry? What is the question is what is organic chemistry? Actually, organic chemistry is the chemistry of compounds that contain element carbon. So, what is organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is the chemistry of compounds that contain the element carbon. Clearly, carbon compounds are central in life in this planet. As well as carbon is an element, however, has its original origin elsewhere. So, organic chemistry has got its roots from the nature also. Okay, this is about organic chemistry. Organic chemistry, in other words, we can also define the branch of science which deals with the carbon and its compounds, in which carbon plays an important role. Okay, let us see some development of organic chemistry science in the ancient history. When you take this science of organic chemistry, it has begun to flower with the demise of the 19th century theory called vitalism. Vital theory. According to this vitalism theory, organic compounds were only those that came from living organic compounds, organisms, and not only living things that could synthesize organic compounds through intervention of a vital force. That's why we can call that theory is nothing but vital force theory. And thereafter, inorganic compounds were considered those compounds that came from non-living sources. Friedrich Wöhler is a scientist. Friedrich Wöhler discovered organic compound that is called urea. What is the organic compound discovered? Urea, which is a constituent of urine. It is a constituent of urea that could be made by evaporating an aqueous solution of inorganic compound, ammonium cyanate. So this came from ammonium cyanate. Ammonium cyanate. Yes, prepared. So ammonium cyanate is nothing but NH4 NCO. This is NH4 plus, NCO is minus. After heating this one, we got urea. This is the compound urea. So the compound initially taken is ammonium cyanate. This is ammonium cyanate. Ammonium cyanate. The compound obtained urea. This is organic compound. Urea is inorganic compound. Despite the demise of vitalism in science, the word organic is still used today by some people to mean coming from living organisms. So what is the meaning is? Organic means coming from living organisms. Okay. As in the term organic vitamins and organic fertilizers also we have the same information is there. The commonly used term is nothing but organic food. Now, that means the food was grown without the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. So, an organic vitamin means these people that a vitamin was isolated from a natural source and not synthesized by a chemist. That is called as organic vitamin, organic food. While these are sound arguments to be made against using food contaminated with a certain pesticides, while there may be environmental benefits to be obtained from organic farming, and while the natural vitamins may contain beneficial substances not present in synthetic vitamins. So it is impossible to argue that pure natural vitamin C, for example, a healthier man which is healthier than pure synthetic vitamin C. Since the two substances are identical in all respects, synthetic vitamin C, natural vitamin C. In science today, the study of compounds from living organisms we are calling as natural products chemistry. Natural products chemistry. What is that vitamin C? Vitamin C, that is nothing but this type of structure is there for that. We'll see the structure. And here we have one primary alcohol group is there. Bottom side we have double bonded carbons attached, and this side we have one functional group, alcoholic functional group. This side one alcoholic functional group, and this carbon is ketonic functional group is there. This is actually the structure which was suggested for vitamin C. So, in this basic information, we understand that organic chemistry, natural products chemistry is organic chemistry. This is regarding the general introduction of the basic organic chemistry. Okay. Now, in the second important was basic in this one is atomic structure. Atomic structure. Before we begin our study of the compounds of carbon, we need to practice some basic but familiar ideas about chemical elements and their structure. Okay. In this atomic structure concept, the compounds we encounter in chemistry are actually made up of elements combined in different proportions. So, in this atomic structure, the most important point to be noticed is how the compounds form. The compounds formed by the combination of elements in different proportions. That's we'll call it as a compound. And what about elements? That means first we told a compound. The compound is obtained from elements, different combinations of elements. And what about this term element? Elements are actually made up of atoms. An atom consists of a dense positively charged nucleus which contains protons and neutrons and a surrounding cloud of electrons. So, this is made up of atoms. In saying sharply, it is exactly the same type of atoms will be there in that element, any element. And coming to the other point here, each proton of this atomic structure, the nucleus, bears one positive charge and electrons bear one negative charge. Neutrons are electrically neutral. This is the fundamental. So they bear no charge, neutrons bear no charge. And coming to the protons and neutrons, they have nearly equal masses which are present inside the nucleus. So inside the nucleus we have protons, neutrons are there. Inside the nucleus protons are there. Inside the nucleus we have neutrons are there. Okay, neutrons are there. In saying specifically it is null charge species, protons are positively charged species. That's why nucleus is positive. Around this, whatever the electron cloud is there, the electron cloud which is nothing but negatively charged. And coming to the point here, the mass of protons and mass of neutrons, when you compare, almost similar, but neutrons are little heavier than that. And that is how much atomic mass when compared to neutrons. An electron comparison, if you say, neutrons are 1800 times heavier than that of electrons. And most of the mass of atom, as you know, that comes from the mass of nucleus. And the atomic mass contributed by electrons actually is not said to be considered, which is negligible. And most of that volume of atom, however, comes from the electrons. And the volume of an atom occupied by the electrons is 10,000 times larger than that of nucleus. That means this is suppose this is the volume of nucleus and this is the volume of electrons. This is volume of nucleus. This is volume of occupied by electrons. I am saying volume occupied by electrons. Volume occupied by the nucleus, volume occupied by the electrons. When you see this comparison, this is 10,000 times. How many times greater? That means volume occupied by electrons will be greater than volume occupied by the nucleus. This is also fundamental. And coming to the point here, elements actually commonly found in organic molecules. What are the organic molecules? Elements. Carbon we will found. We will found hydrogen is the element we will found in the organic chemistry. And nitrogen, one element we will found in the study of organic chemistry. Oxygen element we will found. Not only that one, we will found phosphorus, and also will found sulfur and some halogens in this organic chemistry study. Halogens means fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc. These all elements we will study in organic chemistry. In this, each element is distinguished by its atomic number. Carbon atomic number 6, and hydrogen is 1, nitrogen is 7, oxygen is 8, like that. In that, this distinguishment of elements can be done by considering by taking its atomic number. Its symbol is capital Z, which is equals to the number of protons in its nucleus. Carbon contains number of protons 6, that's why carbon's atomic number is 6. Hydrogen 1 means hydrogen nucleus contains 1 proton. So number of protons inside the nucleus is exact definition of atomic number. Because atom is electrically neutral, atomic number is equals to the number of electrons surrounding the nucleus. That means when you are saying the element atom is neutral, proton number and electron number both should be same in that case. Okay. Then after the study of isotopes came into discussion. Study of isotopes came into discussion. That means isotopes are nothing but the existence of atoms with the same element that have different masses. That is also discussed in the atomic structure. Again, we can recollect the information from atomic structure. Then the study of isobars, isotones also came into discussion. Isobars, isotones, even isodiaphers also came into discussion. That is our atomic structure related basic information which is required for our organic chemistry. Okay. Now we will see the next important point in this one, in this basic, that is the structural theory of organic chemistry. Between 1800 to 1900 century, scientist named Auguste Kekulé has worked independently along with very few scientists, laid on the basis of most important theories in chemistry. That theory is called as structural theory of organic chemistry. That the point to be noticed is, first point, whatever they have given in the theories, atoms in organic compounds can form fixed number of bonds using their outer shells. Outer shell means they contain valence electrons, using their valency electrons. In particular, carbon is called a tetravalent element. Carbon is nothing but tetravalent element. That means carbon atoms have 4 valence electrons and they can form 4 bonds. So like this. While that of when you take oxygen is a divalent one. Oxygen is nothing but divalent one, but it can form 2 bonds. 2 single bonds or a single double bond. A double bond with any other one. And coming to the halogen cases, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, they are monovalent. So whenever we have halogen is there, halogen can able to form only 1 bond. So valency of carbon is 4, oxygen is 2, and halogen is 1 according to the study of periodic table. The second point here is the structural theory. A carbon atom can use 1 or more of its valence electrons to form bonds to other carbon atoms. For example, here we are telling that carbon is capable of forming 4 bonds. In giving the bondings, that means for example, if it is only giving 2 bonds, here 3 are there, here 4 are there. What is the meaning of this one is nothing but it is utilizing its only 2 valence electrons for bonding. Remaining 2 are there with this unshared. Likewise, here 1 is there, here nothing is there. What is the meaning of this? A carbon atom can utilize 1 or more of its valence electrons to form bonds with other carbon atoms. In original publications, Cooper represented those bonds by lines. Scientist, his name is Cooper. He represented these bonds by lines much in same way that most of formulas in our book are drawn like this. Okay. After that, Kekulé gave a scientific information in organic chemistry, which is a modern definition, that is of a study of compounds of carbon. So what is the modern definition of organic chemistry? It's nothing but a study of the compounds of carbon is called as organic chemistry. So until we know that organic chemistry is nothing but is a natural product chemistry. Okay, so this is our the thing. Next we will discuss about isomers also. See, the next thing is the importance of structural formulas in isomers. Actually, there is the structural theory which is allowed in this early organic chemistry to begin to solve fundamental problems that obtained in that at the time. The problem of isomerism, that is nothing but problem of isomerism. Scientists frequently found examples of different compounds that have same molecular formula. So, what the thing is? Different compounds that have same molecular formula. That is isomerism, and the compounds are called isomers. What is the helpful thing here is the terms and concepts of that are fundamentally important in our learning organic chemistry or set in this discussion, and you should learn them. They are introduced, and these terms are also defined in our discussions. In the coming discussions, we will define that one also. Now, let us consider an example involving 2 compounds that have practical uses. One compound, I am saying it is acetone, okay, which is used in nail polish remover and as a paint remover, and propylene oxide. Another one is nothing but propylene oxide. So acetone, which is used in nail polish removers. And coming to the propylene oxide, which is used in seaweed extracts to make food, generate thickness. Actually, this is nothing but used with the seaweed extracts to make food great, and which thickens, and foam which stabilizes, which is for beer stabilizing agents, also made with propylene oxide. Both of these compounds have the molecular formula C3H6O. Molecular formula of acetone and propylene, they have same molecular formula is there. that acetone and propylene oxide have distinctly different boiling points and chemical reactivity. As a result, what happened? Which lend themselves to distinctly different practical applications, and their shared molecular simply gives no use of understanding differences between them. So we must therefore move to consideration of their structural form. So when we know the structural formulae, this is the information about structural formulae, right? So their molecular formula simply give us no basis of understanding the difference. So this is the molecular formula which is not giving any kind of information regarding their different properties. So on examining the structures of acetone and propylene oxide, several key aspects are clearly which are different. As when you write the structure which is given to us for acetone, this is like this acetone structure. While that of propylene oxide, propylene oxide to take, it will be like this. Propylene means 3 carbons, it's an ethoxide. Okay. So that's why the structures are different and their chemical and physical properties are also different. In propylene oxide, what we observed is there is a ring structure also we observed. That means propylene oxide does not contain a double bond, whereas acetone contains a double bond with oxygen. Acetone contains double bond between oxygen and carbon. The central carbon atom is this one only. Well, that of propylene oxide, what happened, does not contain any kind of double bond, but it has 3 atoms joined in a ring. So this is the bridge. Oxygen is a bridged atom. And these, the connectivity of atoms is clearly different in acetone and propylene oxide, and their structures have same molecular formula but different constitution. So we call such compounds or constitutional isomers. These are nothing but constitutional isomers, right? So these are constitutional isomers now. Actually, these are the different compounds that have same molecular formula, but different sequence in their atoms are bonded. That is neither connectivity in the structure. And another one, constitutional isomers usually have different physical properties like melting point, boiling point, density, and they have different chemical properties like reactivity also there. So constitutional isomers study is important, that their connectivity in the structure is giving different chemical and physical properties. And we will see a problem based on this one, that is we have diethyl ether ethanol are there. Okay, there are 2 isomers with the formula C2H6O. So this is the formula given to us. Write the structural formula of these isomers, they are told. Write the structural formula of these isomers. So that one is diethyl ether, another one is ethanol. So when you write diethyl ether, so oxygen is the ethyl oxygen. This is there are many connectivities. Nothing but like this. C2, right? Dimethyl. This is methyl ether. So then we will get 2 carbons, 6 hydrogens, and 1 oxygen. When it comes to ethanol, you write ethanol structure. It is alcohol function group, which, and this connectivity is different from the connectivity of atoms in dimethyl ether. Dimethyl ether. It is dimethyl ether. That means, if you recall, the carbon can form 4 covalent bonds, oxygen can form 2, and hydrogen only 1. We can arrive at the constitutional isomer structures like this. It should be noted that these two isomers are clearly different from their physical properties. At room temperature, actually these compounds at 1 atmosphere pressure, diethyl ether is at room temperature is a gas, which is a gas, while that of ethanol at room temperature is liquid. So this is very simple difference in the physical properties. That is because of their connectivity, structural formula we can say. So structural theory is giving an information about the physical chemical properties of organic compounds are different because of their connectivity and the structural formulas. Okay, we will discuss about other informations like structural compounds like methane structure and all other structural informations and some chemical bond related basics in the next session. Until, thank you.